things in Canada.
我刚刚搬到澳洲才1年，在那个之前呢，我都住在加拿大，所以我跟加拿大的连结其实非常紧密。
So in Canada, the unions, many of the unions were very worried because their members did a lot of unpaid overtime. So they would work through their lunch break, they would take work home at the end of the day, they would work on weekends for free. They wouldn't be paid.
在加拿大呢，工会非常的担心，他们工会的成员呢会做很多无酬的劳动。
So for a long time, they just tried to tell their members not to do this because they said your employer should pay you. You shouldn't work for free. It's a matter of dignity and fairness. But they found that they couldn't stop their workers or their members from doing unpaid overtime.
但是工会呢，在过去只是不断的跟他们成员说，你不要这样做，这样子有伤你的尊严。但是他发现，他还是没有办法阻止工会的成员呢，为雇主提供这些无酬的劳动。
So they decided to study why people did so much unpaid work. And of course, it's because social workers are social workers because we are seeking meaning in our work. We're following our values and our ethics.
后来工会就决定研究为什么这一些社工呢，还是会做很多无偿的工作。后来这个研究就发现说，社工其实是在追求意义，只要对于案主有意义的事情呢，他们牺牲自己，他们都愿意去做。
So they pulled their members together, and their members, of course, like social workers usually do, had a very good skill at sharing an analysis and building a critique of their workplace conditions and of unpaid work and of what they thought needed to be changed.
所以呢，工会就决定邀请他们的工会会员聚在一起。那就像所有的社工呢，他们非常擅长于分享他们在职场上面所看到的问题，他们发展出他们的分析跟他们的这种反省。
So they drew on the passion and the commitment to fairness that social workers have, and instead of just campaigning to end unpaid overtime, they decided to campaign to, as the signs say that the people are holding there, to put people before profits and to try to have campaigns to draw social workers in around the important meaning in their work.
所以呢，工会就决定善用社工员对于社会正义跟公平的这个重视，所以呢，他们后来就诉求，我们应该把人放在利润之前，所以希望机构能够重视人，而不是重视机构本身的利益，所以可以让更多的社工愿意参加，所以他们改变了他们的诉求。
So they encouraged social workers to put that energy that they usually put into unpaid work to instead coming and doing work with the union to try to change the world and make it a better place.
所以呢，透过这样子的一个过程，他们鼓励社工不要把他的能量呢放在那一些无酬的工作，而是跟工会站在一起，一起来寻求改变这个制度。
And this appealed to a lot of social workers who felt that unions were more just about working conditions and wages, and they really identified with this idea that you could have union action about social change.
所以呢，这样子的一个改变，其实对于很多的社工有很大的吸引力，因为呢，社工以前都认为说工会就只是在意劳动条件、薪资，然后这个行动呢，让社工感觉到工会其实原来他也关心这个社会重要的议题，所以他们更愿意跟工会一起行动。
So the union experienced a growth in membership from this campaign, which I think we can say is a good success.
所以呢，工会的会员也因为这样子的一种行动呢，他的会员人数也增加。
But that doesn't mean everything is great. In Canada, this slide is about a long strike of child welfare workers in the central part of Canada, where the workers have been on strike since September 18th.
但是那并不代表所有的社工工会发生的事情都是美好的。像这一个案例呢，是一个非常长期的社工罢工的案例。那是在加拿大的这个中部，是儿童福利的社工，他们从9月18号开始就罢工，一直到现在12月，已经将近快要3个月的时间。
So the issues that they're striking over are they want a limit on how many cases they have to work on at one time.
他们罢工的理由，第一个是他们希望对他们的案量设上限。
They also want improved working conditions because many people have to work very long hours, go out to dangerous areas by themselves, and face very difficult circumstances.
另外一个就是他们的劳动条件，因为他们需要工作很长的时间，或者他们被迫必须要去非常危险的情境里面去进行访视。
And so they are demanding that the government put more money into child welfare services to create greater safety and social development for children, and also greater safety for workers.
所以他们要求政府增加预算来保障社工员的职场安全，也让这个儿童有更大的安全上面的保障。
And this is another theory moment.
现在我们进入理论时候。
So we could call some of these models of organizing a phrase that Linda Briskin uses, which is a post-heroic model.
这个理论呢是在讲组织上面的理论。那 Briskin 这个人这个学者在2010年提出来说，现在的工会组织已经进入到后英雄时期。
So a heroic model emphasizes the importance of an individual being strong and working all on their own and being in front of everyone else.
之前的模式呢，英雄模式讲的是工会的运作呢，好像需要有一个英雄，然后呢他自己就可以，他是一个非常好的领导者，然后他自己可以做决策，然后大家都依赖他，大家都跟随他。
These models instead emphasize shared leadership. They emphasize consulting extensively with members, with service users, with the community. They emphasize including everyone.
但是这个后英雄模式呢，强调的是领导权是分享式的领导。他也强调呢，在这个过程当中要跟很多人咨询，跟很多人合作。还有在这个过程里面呢，要包含会员，也要包含服务使用者。
And they emphasize a model that is very popular for those of you who work in the community, a bottom-up model. But they also say that there's a role for leadership. It's not just that we have to sit around and wait for the bottom to tell us something. At the same time, there is a role for leaders. But the role for leaders is, of course, in large part, to listen, to represent, and to energize.
好，那再来，他们也非常强调的是，你们如果是做社区工作，就会非常了解，就是由下而上的参与。但是呢，他们同时也认可说，对于工会的运作来讲，必须要有领导者。那这个领导者呢，他必须要去倾听，他必须要去鼓励大家，让大家有活力，能够一起来参与。所以也有一个由上而下的领导存在。
And the last country that I'll give you an example from is Australia. It's at the bottom of the planet, so it has to be the last example.
接下来我跟大家介绍的是澳洲，因为澳洲呢是在这个地球的最下面，所以呢它的例子也就是放在最后面。
So in Australia, they had an extremely successful case in their labor law court, which is called a tribunal. In 2012, they took a case to the labor court on equal pay because the sector is predominantly female workers, and they argued that the sector was systematically underpaid compared to other groups of similar workers.
澳洲的工会运动呢，非常成功的在他们的制度里面建立了一个制度，叫做 tribunal。 tribunal 呢，我问了 Donna 是说，它有点类似像台湾的一种法院，或者是说大法官，它是一个仲裁，属于政府的一部分，但是又是有它的独立的审查权。所以只要有关于劳动的议题，你就可以把它诉讼到这边来，这边会做成仲裁。
So they made history actually. People didn't think that this case could possibly win, but they did win, and they won rather big. So it set a precedent for more gender equity cases through the labor law court.
他们在2012年提出了一个同工同酬的案例，然后呢，很多人都不认为他们会赢，但是结果呢，他们创造了历史。他们不但赢呢，而且还赢很大。然后呢，而且这个里面，他们说就是社工的薪资呢是制度性的低度报酬，然后这是一个不公平的事情。
So the increase is noted here, 2.5% every year until 2020, when they think they will have caught up to other groups.
所以这个仲裁的结果呢，其实带来了性别的平等，因为社工大部分都是女性，而且仲裁的结果就是呢，他们被要求就是到2020年之前呢，每一年要加薪2.5%。
So one of the most important factors is that this strategy was headed by the union, and it really drew people together and energized a lot of people who weren't involved in the union, but felt that there was unfairness, either gender-based unfairness or just unfairness in the sector. And as you can see here, they're very happy and having a big party.
这一个过程呢是由工会领导，但是呢不是只有工会的成员在参与，也因为他们不断的去强调它的不正义跟不公平，还有它在性别上面所造成的不公平，所以有很多工会以外的人，他们也都加入跟参与，所以有非常大量的人支持在他们这个过程当中。那大家可以看到这张照片呢，当他们通过之后，他们真的很开心他们得到了一次很大的胜利。
So the union that undertook this strategy, it's a small union. It's called the Australia Services Union. It's not a big, powerful union. It's a small union, and many people thought they took a step too far, but in fact, they had an unbelievable victory, which maybe says to us that sometimes we should be very bold and take a step too far.
但是其实这个工会呢，在澳洲是一个很小的工会，叫做澳洲服务业工会。然后呢，很多人都觉得他们有一点像是小孩子玩大刀，当然他们觉得这个你根本不可能完成，但是却没有想到呢，他们却能够完成这一个不可能的任务。所以呢，这个故事也告诉我们说，有的时候我们就应该勇敢的去做梦，然后勇敢的去尝试很多觉得不太可能会成功的事情。
So this is my last slide, and I'll do it quickly, and it's the last bit of theory. But I think it's really useful for people to be able to draw on this kind of research. So this person, Kelly, he's looked at when workers are willing to stand up and defend themselves and when they're not.
这个是最后一页的投影片，然后也是关于理论，然后我认为大家应该从研究当中去学习有关于工会的事情。这个人呢 ，Kelly， 他在研究的是工人什么时候愿意为他们自己站出来。
Okay. So the first thing that has to be present in a workplace is that there has to be a sense that there's something unjust happening in the workplace, and that people start to talk about it with each other, so they're sharing it with each other, and they're having some agreement that there is something unjust and unfair.
所以第一个要出现的是，大家有点感觉说，有不正义的存在，然后大家开始讨论这件事情，然后大家都觉得这件事情是不对的。
Secondly, the people, when they're sharing their discussion about what's going wrong, they, instead of blaming themselves, instead of saying there's something they themselves are doing wrong, or their fellow worker is doing wrong, instead they believe that the employer is doing something wrong, or the government is doing something wrong, and they think that the responsibility for change doesn't come from us being better individuals, but the responsibility for change comes from the employer or the government.
然后呢，这些社工呢，必须要有一种能力，是不是责怪自己，或者是责怪自己的同仁，是他们做错了，而是把发生的这一个不公平的事情，能够去知道，这可能是雇主的问题，或者是政府的问题。所以呢，雇主跟政府呢，他们有这个责任，必须要提出解决的方法。
And I'll do the 3 and 4 together at the same time because they overlap. So when we're having these discussions with each other, we have a sense that if we pull together and keep talking about these issues and take some collective action, we can maybe make some change. That has to be present. And the other thing has to be that there's an organization for workers, either something like a union or something like SWAN.
那第3点跟第4点我一起来讲，也就是说呢，大家必须要感觉到，如果我们一起做什么事情，这件事情就会改变。而且呢，在那个过程当中，就好像要有那个可以把大家集结起来的组织，不管是工会也好，或者是像 SWAN 那样子的一种那种网络性的进行网络的组织，都可以让大家可以一起参与，然后集结在一起。
Okay. And fifth, when people are looking around at what's wrong in the organization and what they're unhappy with, they think that whatever the employer will do will not be worse than the unhappiness they're experiencing. So they might think, if the employer's mad at me, it couldn't be worse than the way things are right now anyways.
所以，社工如果在职场上面碰到这些让你不开心的事情，然后，但是社工他如果评估事情呢，已经不会更坏了，就说我现在工作的不快乐，还有什么更糟糕的状况，那他就会愿意投入。但是如果他评估了之后呢，他觉得可能会有更糟糕的事情，可能他也会评估他要不要从事这样的一个动作。所以意思就是说，雇主他如果去反对雇主的话，那雇主可能的报复到底有多严重？然后如果他们普遍认为现在已经是最糟糕的状况，所以那他就会想要去改变它。
So the final factor that needs to be present is that there's a group of activists or leaders who can help pull people together. So that when people are talking with each other and they're upset and they have an analysis of what's going on, there's some leaders around who can say, these are some things we can do. This is how we can make change.
最后一点就是他必须要有人能够带头，能够让大家看到这个不正义的存在，然后告诉大家这个就是我们应该一起做的事情，然后呢，那就有可能那大家社工就有可能站出来。
So some of this may seem common sense, but sometimes it's very useful to look around your workplace or look at some issue that you want to raise and ask yourself how many of these factors are already there and what factors would we need to build to have a truly successful campaign.
这些听起来其实还蛮常识的，但是呢，它其实是很有用，你自己可以看一看你自己在职场上面遇到的问题，哪一些条件已经具备，还缺哪一些条件，所以我们可以去经营那个条件的出现。那这是一个很好的一个检查的这个名单。
So when I look around the room, I think there's probably a lot of great leaders here and people who can develop their activism and their leadership further and can pull those factors together to mobilize the workplace and make this union of yours a great success.
我看了一下各位，我就知道说各位当中有很多潜在的领导人。那我相信你们可以回到你们的职场上面去，然后看一看你们职场上面的这一些条件的状况是怎么样。他相信我们每一个人回到自己的职场，都有很可能成为那个改变的领导人。
And that's the end of my talk. I wish you every success with your union. I'm very impressed with the social work unionists in Taiwan and the social work activists in Taiwan. And I hope that I read about lots of success from you in the future.
这是我最后的演讲。那我祝福大家，祝福台湾的社工工会在台湾的未来会有很多成功的案例。那他也希望他未来也能够跟别人分享台湾工会成功的事情。谢谢大家。那我想我们在3点10分之前，大家都可以提问题，所以我们有大概20分钟的时间。我们是不是可以把灯打开来？然后那大家对于刚刚Donna所讲的事情有没有什么问题想问他，或者是你有什么样的经验想要分享，或者是评论都可以。好，那我们就让大家来请自我介绍一下。
大家好，我姓薛的，那我是在医院做社工师。大家好，我姓薛，那我在医院当社工师。那我想问，其实有2个问题啦。第一个就是说，有关于台湾，就是有关于回捐这件事。回捐应该大家都知道的意思，有没有人听不懂回捐叫什么？对，就是对。那我不知道他在国外的这个情形严不严重，或者是他们怎么解决这一类的一些问题。那第2个就是，我本身拥有证照，所以证照的话，你一定要参加高雄市的社工师工会，就是那个公嘛，公司的公。那可是我们另外的这个社工工会是让自由意愿参加。那我不知道说这个2个之间会不会有一些竞合的关系，或者是说，就他们怎么会共同为个案或者是社工人员来争取？就是社工师工会跟我们高雄市的社工工会，这2个是不一样的。大家应该懂我的意思，所以他们之间就是因为要有证照，你就一定要参加工会。可是这些工会，因为它是属于法令上要求参加的，对。那可是我们一般如果没有证照或一般社工，他的福利的话，通常没有这么过去啦。过去因为没有工会，然后现在有。那这2个工会之间，我不知道在国外会不会有这种情形，或是说他们怎么去合作这样。以上，谢谢。
Okay, I'll do my best to answer this. But I think probably your local leadership here have better answers than I do because I can only draw on my international comparisons.
他尽力回答。那有一些状况其实是非常台湾在地的问题，也许台湾在地的这个社工更能够回答你刚刚讲的问题，但是他会尽力。
So the same problem of having to give back salary exists in Australia. Although I think Australian social workers are better paid in the first place, but it's still it's outrageous. I can't believe it.
他说在澳洲其实也有社工员回捐的问题，但是不同的是，澳洲的社工的薪资是相对是比较高的，但是他们还是觉得不开心。
In Australia, when the problem became quite big, then the union and the groups of workers, they weren't in the union, but they banded together and they made media conferences to let the public know. And the public was quite shocked because it really is quite a shocking idea that you should have to pay part of your salary for the privilege of working hard.
澳洲的工会后来发现这个问题其实越来越严重，那他们回应的方法就是他们开记者会，让澳洲的社会大众知道，然后澳洲人知道了之后，他们觉得非常的震惊，为什么会有这样的一个不合理的事情发生
So they've had some success at stopping the practice, and there's also a government provision that they can get some of the money back through their income tax now.
对，所以他们有部分的成功，就是机构就不再敢做这样的事情。另外一个是后来那个政府给他们减税，如果你回捐的话，你那个钱是可以作为你的那个减税抵税的这个措施。
I would say the best strategy is to embarrass the employers by making it clear to the public what's going on, but also to make it clear to the public how important your work is and the kind of work that you do that's very highly skilled, and so it merits a good salary, not a salary for a volunteer.
他认为有2点是重要，第一个就是让你的雇主丢脸，在公开上你居然做这种事情，跟大家拿了那么多钱，你还好意思叫社工员回捐，这是第一点。第二点呢，就是让社会大众知道你所做的事情是应该要被好好的对待，是值得一份好的薪水，而不是这么低的薪水。
Okay. And then the second part of your question about licensure and professional associations, we have a similar problem in Canada, where they don't like to work together. The way it has been somewhat resolved is the union is stronger there, it's bigger there, and the professional association decided to work with the union instead of with the licensing people. So we all gang up on the licensing.
在加拿大也有类似的问题，就是有社工师执照的人呢，他们的就说社工师工会不喜欢跟那个专业协会一起工作，那他们解决这个方法呢，就是工会它非常的强大，所以呢，这个社工专协他做什么事情就要跟工会合作，然后反而呢，大家就把那个社工师工会晾在一边。
So that might be your best solution, is choose whichever one is the least awful and become their friend.
那所以简单的方式呢，就是选择次要敌人成为你的朋友。好，在这里，请问大家还有没有什么问题？好，Donna真的知道很多的经验，所以请大家可以把握机会，来请。
我是龙伟璇，然后是平安国际家庭互助协会的工作人员，我是一个 NGO 的组织工作者。那我其实想要请问的比较是在讲福利私有化的部分，就是说在福利私有化，我觉得其实不管是刚刚就是主讲者有分享一些，就是工会比较是透过集结然后的方式，然后去不管是改变或是面对这个所谓的福利私有化，那我想能不能够更具体，这个所谓的行动或是策略是什么？譬如说，是用研讨会的方式吗？还是说他或者是他如何促成跟政府之间的对话，或者是公听会？我觉得我想知道那个更具体的策略是什么，然后想要了解在刚刚提的几个国家的行动是什么？谢谢。
So to slow or stop privatization seems to require a strategy that has a number of different levels. Hearings are important, and drawing on academics and researchers who are sympathetic, who will make submissions to hearings against privatization.
OK，其实要反对民营化，其实需要在不同层次上面的行动。当然，公听会很重要，而且公听会呢，你要能够动员那个学术界，能够发声支持， 然后来出来提出有力的论述来反对民营化。
We find sometimes it's very effective to show examples from other countries where privatization has been very harmful, and there's lots of examples. So, and that might be something that professors and other researchers can help you gather that information.
然后我们发现，其实其他国家的案例其实非常的重要。我们可以让，尤其是有一些学者可以告诉大家，这些国家实施了福利民营化之后所造成的负面的效果。
We've also found it effective to gather the stories of service users. So that requires going out and interviewing people, but getting their stories about how their lives are already difficult, and then we're able to predict that, of course, they will become worse with further privatization.
第二个策略呢，就是应该去收集服务使用者的故事，让大家知道福利民营化对于他们生活的影响是什么。那如果更进一步的福利民营化，会让他的生活处于一个更恶劣的状况。
And then we've had some success with campaigns where we have petitions, we have rallies, and we also have what we call a mass lobby. So we get a bunch of people all together on the same day to go and visit their parliamentarians all on the same day, with the same argument and the same materials, and we don't leave the office till they hopefully listen to us.
我们也会进行的是像抗议示威，还有像请愿，我们也会发动民众去他们的这个区域的民意代表去拜会。那如果他们不接受的话，就不离开他们的这个办公室或服务处，这些都是一些我们可以使用的策略。
And I'm sure those of you who have been involved in the many great social movements for democracy here in Taiwan already know much of this. But sometimes there's people and groups who will be your allies who are quite unexpected. And that's sometimes when we see policy change. So sometimes it's good to think really hard about who might stand with you against privatization. And it's not always who we expect. You know, we expect service user groups and we expect the social justice groups, but sometimes we find people in other areas who, I can't think of anyone right now, Microsoft, I don't know, who will stand with you and assist your claims.
还有就是台湾经历民主化的过程里面有非常多的这个社会运动，那么我们在反民营化的过程里面，可能会有一些我们原来没有预期的这个伙伴可以加入。我们往往都会期待我们的服务使用者团体，然后或者是一些人权团体会加入我们，但是有的时候反而加入我们行动的会是一些我们没有想到的团体。但是他不知道在台湾没有想到的团体会是哪个单位，但是意思就是要我们能够广泛的去连接跟去结盟。好，请问还有没有来请？
你好，我在一个就是妇女团体里面做倡议工作。那我觉得有时候其实与其对外倡议，我觉得有时候内部对工作者的意识的唤起，或者是说刚才过程中有提到，就是加拿大的工会发现工作者有很多超时工作，然后寻找意义的这个部分。那我觉得因为社会工作至少在台湾，它被认为是一个去捕破网，或者是社工常会自己期待自己可以去救更多的人。那所以我很好奇，刚刚提到一个怎么让他们去意识到说，我把这个力气挪一些到去做制度上的改变，真的可以造成更大的效果。那能够就是暂时减少自己这些超时工作的情况。那所以我很想了解，这是透过教育吗？还是说工会做了哪些事情，让实务的工作者真的可以理解到制度上的改变是有可能的？谢谢。
That's a good question. It's a very good question. And I think unions always struggle with that, and social workers struggle with that. So I gave the example of Canada, where they decided to try to really deeply understand why people kept doing unpaid overtime. Then they tried to use that same enthusiasm to build other social justice activities. It was successful in some areas, and in other areas where people think they're going to be a savior, it wasn't so successful. It was more successful where people had more of a social analysis or a critical consciousness.
就你刚刚所讲的那个问题，通常在社工如果对于他们自己职场上的问题有比较多的社会分析，然后通常会比较成功。然后但是在特定的领域里面，工作者往往自己认为自己是救世主，在那样的领域里面通常就不太成功。
In one case, the big social work union in Canada, CUPE, they did a survey of their members to count how much unpaid work they did. And then they used those numbers to show how many people they could hire if people didn't do the unpaid work. Like how many jobs people were actually filling on their own time that could otherwise be used to hire someone.
例如像在加拿大有一个工会叫做 QB， 他做了一个研究，就是如果社工不再超时工作的话，这些可以用来雇佣多少的社工？
So it was, I think, quite useful for the workers to see how they were actually subsidizing the workplace. They were in effect, taking a cut in pay by working extra hours with no increase in wages. I think it was also useful for employers because they had to recognize in actual number figures how much overtime was being done. And then the union could take those statistics to the government and demand more funding.
另外一个他觉得重要的是说，让社工知道，其实他在变相的补助机构，然后工会呢，其实应该去记录跟研究，到底社工提供了多少无偿的工作，然后让雇主知道，然后也让政府知道，然后要求政府必须要扩大他的补助。
But I think probably the most effective way to combat unpaid overtime and thinking that you're a savior, it is education or critical consciousness raising, which might